Hi, Julie Roussel here. Hey, welcome to Wacky Wednesday, where you never know what the topic's going to be. So thanks for joining in, whether you're popping in live or catching on the replay. As always, if you hear something that resonates with you, please leave me a reaction, drop a comment or ask questions in the thread anytime. Share the video with anyone you think it might help, and PM me if you have questions or want to hear more. I'm always happy to share the things that I'm learning, and I hope that they help you. So hello, I see a few joining in. Thank you. It's great to see you. Hello, Joe. Hey, Mike. Long time no see. Michelle. Awesome. Oh, I think I see a few more joining in. Hello, Brent. Great to see you. And hey, if I happen to miss your name as you pop in, I apologize. My camera is set landscape style, which is to my left, your right, along with my notes. And if you've ever seen my videos before, you know that I can't survive without them. My mind usually goes blank. But just do me a favor, leave a hey or a shout, and let me know that you popped in. I love to recognize you. So let me ask the question for the night. Have you ever had weeks or months where things just seem to go wrong and keep piling up? Do you ever feel buried or trapped because of life events? So, I see a few more joining in. Hello, Janet. Nice to see you, lady. Oops, I think my camera's a little off. Sorry about that. But if you've ever felt that way or know someone who has, would you please leave a comment below and let me know? Yeah, hey, me. I originally created this video in December 2016 after hearing a mentor's message that just strongly resonated with me. I had no idea back then that this message would stay so relevant, that it would create a turning point in my life, as well as have a huge impact on my family. So I decided to recreate and expand upon this message because of how the recent events in my life unfolded. And I'm hoping maybe, just maybe, camera, please cooperate here. And I'm hoping that you would find it valuable too. Gosh, I hate when the camera's off, because then you look at yourself all funny. There we go. Sort of better. Why is it the camera doesn't want to? There we go. Kinda, sorta. Just one of those things tonight. Aha. So I have a quick solution. There we go. Since my camera is off and it's already making me nuts. There we go. Okay. There we go. Now we're straight. All right. So let me get back to what I was saying. But hey, thanks for popping in. I can't see who it is just yet. But as soon as your name goes across the screen, I'll welcome you. I'm glad you could pop in. So let me ask the question one more time since I got distracted. It happens. So have you ever had weeks or months when things keep going wrong and they just keep piling up? So I had that kind of conversation with a friend many times. And, I heard a message the same day from a mentor that just stuck in my mind all day long. Like that song that just never leaves. And the message was true for her life. And I could commiserate because I'd been there too. And what I learned was that the things that we allow to magnify and focus on can really determine our destiny, our lives, our careers, our businesses. And the message that I heard was about this little, stay here, about this little tiny, I don't know how well you can see it, this little tiny, there we go, apple seed, without dropping it. But when we talk about success, we think of how this little tiny seed, I know it's hard to see and it's very difficult to hold, let me tell you. This little tiny seed, how it grows and how it becomes a flower and, develops into a plant and a tree and, it produces a fruit. And it's amazing and beautiful and a special process. And what's funny is we think of people similarly like that. You know, how they're suddenly so successful, you know, how they've racked up countless accolades, you know, how they're achieving their dreams. But the one thing that we don't know is what this little seed had to go through in order to grow, in order to produce roots. Hello, Virginia. It's nice to see you popping in, lady. It's been a while. And if I miss anyone else, I apologize. Just leave me a hey and let me know you were here. But for this little seed, tiny as it is, it has to be buried. Buried in order to grow and produce more fruit. You know, it had to be buried in dirt, rained on, dumped on, and fertilized in order to grow and produce roots. You know, either develop or be destroyed. And everyone has times in their life when they feel like they're in a dark place, you know, and they feel all alone and that everything is just stacked against you. And those hits just keep on coming. You know, you feel buried underneath the weight of it. And you think that you'll never break free, that it will never end. I mean, you keep asking the same old question. Why me? Have you ever asked that question? Why does this have to happen to me? But the more important question is, what if you weren't buried? What if you were just planted? And I've learned that in the dark times of distress, when you're all alone or someone sneaks in to video bomb, close the door. Thank you. Go get a bath then. Okay. I always have a video bomber somewhere. Close the door, please.
Wait.
Okay, the video bomber has now made an appearance. But okay, back to before I got distracted. But what I've learned is that in the dark times of distress, when you feel like you're all alone and when the world seems like it's just totally against you, this is where your character is produced. This is where you develop. This is where you grow. And this is where you become who you were truly meant to be. And I've learned that you can make a choice, you know, during these tough times, that you can let those life events destroy you, or you can see the dark as simply being planted. That it will produce you, mature you, refine you into your greatest self, into the person who you were truly meant to be. You're not buried alone. Not at all. You were just planted to develop, to grow, to make you stronger and able to tackle the next problem that comes along, and the next one, and the next one. Each storm, you know, bigger and more destructive than the previous one, so that you can withstand that storm. Now, for example, right when I'm getting into my example, I see a few more joining in. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate the love. I'm glad you could make it. We're talking about the seed, and hopefully you hear something valuable. But for example, when my hubby was laid off unexpectedly, you know, bills pile up. You know, we get bad news left and right. It seems like it's never ending, you know, and you have only, you know, one income that you know of. And we thought our world was crashing down. You know, we're feeling kind of buried underneath the weight of it, and thought that maybe the next thing was going to just shatter us as a family. You know, just barely hanging on. And I was sitting there at my lowest moment. fallen apart. You know, tears running down my face. Nobody around. I didn't want anyone to see me falling apart. You know, just hanging in there. Excuse me. And it was at that low moment that I realized that after all we'd been through as a family in the last 2 years, you know, whether it was struggles or failures that we encountered, you know, in our personal lives or even in just starting up and running my own business, I realized that those tough moments had refined us, especially me, into somebody who was strong enough to withstand being buried. And it matured me into the stronger person that I needed to be, who I was meant to be, you know, so that I could handle what's to come next and next. Maybe even so I could help others find their strength too. You know, maybe at church recently, you know, you've heard a certain story about a young man about 2,000 years ago, you know, who maybe felt the same way that you did. You know, with the weight of the world pressing down on the back of his shoulders, you know, suffering through the most horrific torture you can imagine. And then being buried so that he could develop into the person he needed to become. You know who I mean? Yeah. So if you heard something that resonated with you, please leave a reaction, drop your thoughts or add a comment or even a hey in the thread anytime. I love and appreciate hearing from you. Share the video with anyone you think it might help, and PM me if you have questions or want to hear more about developing your strength from being buried. Oh, and I see a few more joining in. Thank you. I appreciate that. Like I said, if I missed you, leave me a hey or let me know that you were there. I appreciate it. Thanks for joining in on this Wacky Wednesday. So if you're struggling, you know, if you're feeling buried beneath the weight of life events, you know, if you feel like the world is against you and the hits just keep on coming, I'd like you to remember that we are all like this tiny little seed, tiny little apple seed, buried in order to bear fruit. Thank you. Thanks, Jackie. I'll catch you.